We're 30 hours away from the trade deadline, and the trade deadline is deadlining. As moves are going on, teams in the Eastern Conference are getting better, and we'll see if the New York Knicks are going to try to do that. Bleacher Report has put out an article, and they've talked about 3 players the New York Knicks should look to target. We'll break that down. First, though, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We put out free, informative, entertaining updates every single day on the Knicks. We're live for every game day, and we're going to be live for the trade deadline as well. Starting early tomorrow morning, all the way up until that 3 p.m. deadline. So subscribe, turn your notifications on, and let's go. You're watching the Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Let's dive into it. Bleacher Report lists 3 players the New York Knicks should target before the deadline. And I think there is a player on here that would make some sense. The other ones, I'm not so sure. And let's start with the guy I would like to see them pursue, and that is Corey Kispert, the sharpshooter for the Washington Wizards, a team that was involved in a trade earlier today as they made a move to trade Kyle Kuzma to the Milwaukee Bucks and acquire Chris Middleton. The question is now, would they look to trade a young player like Kispert to another Eastern Conference team? At just 25 years old and just signing an extension off his rookie contract, I'm not so sure, but I do think it makes a lot of sense for the New York Knicks. He gives them legit size on the wing at 6'6", another scoring presence, and someone that is known to be an elite sharpshooter from downtown. Due to the new CBA, when we talk trades, we got to talk salary, and he's making $5.7 million. Sorta. He did sign a poison pill contract, kind of like Jeremy Lin did back in the day, and it makes the trade kind of wonky. Fanspo broke it down and said this: Corey Kispert is on a rookie contract and signed an extension that is to begin the following season. Therefore, he has what is known as a poison pill contract. He can no longer be traded for a player making equal money. Instead, his current salary is averaged along with the salaries he is to receive in his extension. And that average becomes his incoming salary for a trade purposes. His outgoing value for the Wizards will be $5.7 million, while his incoming value for the Knicks in this instance will be $11.9 million. So that is the new number that he would have to meet. And honestly, I hate the new collective bargaining agreement. It has made talking trades nearly impossible, and the average fan doesn't even know what is going on anymore. Apron this, apron that. But if the Knicks are going to make a trade for Kispert, they got to send out more than $11.9 million, which means Mitchell Robinson is most likely going to have to be involved in that deal. I like the idea of trading for Kispert, and I like the contract he is going to be on going into the future. The extension will kick in next year as he is entering, or is in his 4th year in the NBA right now, and it's going to be a flat rate of just under $14 million per year for Kispert, 13.9 for 2026, 2027, 2028, and then there is a team option of just $13 million in 2028, 2029. Well, he will be 29 years old. If that team does pick it up, he'll be a free agent the following year at just the age of 30. I actually love the idea and the fit of Corey Kispert on this team. You talk about what he brings, it's the ability to knock down the outside shot. Also, with OG Anunoby hurt and really his status and where he is going to be in a couple of days or a couple of weeks uncertain, they need to add someone else that could eat up some minutes right now at that wing spot. And Kispert makes a lot of sense. This is someone that throughout his career is shooting almost 38% from downtown in his career. This year, though, a career low at 34.5% from 3. Averaging 11.1 points per game this year, 13.4 in 2023. This is someone that with good opportunity and good usage, he can knock down shots. His second season in the NBA was his best, in my opinion, shooting nearly 43% from downtown. He's a good catch-and-shoot player as well. This year, struggling a little bit, only shooting 35.5%. But I'm going to believe in the work, and I'm going to believe in the data and what my eyes tell me when I watch him. 39% on catch-and-shoot threes last year, nearly 5 per game, and then 43% the prior year with 4.7 attempts per night. They need a wing. They need someone off the bench that can eat up some minutes. OG is hurt. I don't believe a thing when it comes to the injury report for the New York Knicks medical staff. And with him not traveling to Toronto, I know it's a one-day trip. I think it's going to be a little bit longer than we anticipate. I actually feel like they should just hold him out till the end of the All-Star break, give him the next 3 weeks to get right, and let's get rolling as we get into March. From Kispert to Larry Nance was the next player that Bleacher Report has mentioned. And to be honest, I don't really have any interest in making a trade for Larry Nance. And we'll expand upon that, and we'll talk about the last player coming up in a second. First, though, I got to tell you about our proud sponsor, Game Time, the best ticketing app there is. Download it, use the promo code ChatSports, and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. Game Time is the app where you get the best seats for the lowest price guaranteed. Prices actually drop as the events get closer. So if you're a procrastinator, kind of like I am, you're going to love Game Time. And with our code, ChatSports, you get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. You get to see your seat view in the app. It's easy to access your tickets from your phone. And if you decide you don't want to go to the game anymore, it's easy to sell your tickets. Use that all-in pricing feature that you see in the middle picture. You got to click it, and when it's lit up, the price you see is the price you pay, and the feature right next to it, the button, Game Time Picks, take advantage of that and make sure you get the best tickets to go see your favorite people, and it makes the process that much more easy. It's more than just sporting events, though. You can go to concerts, you can go to comedy shows, and so much more. So download the app, create an account, and again, use our promo code ChatSports. That's CHATSPORTS. Larry Nance being named a trade target for the New York Knicks, I don't really think makes any sense. At 32 years old and at just 6'7", where is he going to play for the New York Knicks? Are their big man bench off the lineup going to be Precious and Larry Nance? That doesn't solve anything for you. And with $11.2 million on his contract right now, the Knicks would have to send out Mitchell Robinson. I'm not trading Mitchell Robinson for a 32-year-old Larry Nance, who is having a pretty solid year this year, shooting the best he has in his career from downtown, and he's doing it on 3.2 attempts per game. I always thought coming out he could be kind of a playmaker and a stretch four, but he hasn't really lived up to the hype of his draft stock. And to be honest with you, I just don't have any interest. He's not a great rebounder. He's not a great defender. He's not a rim protector. He doesn't give you size. It gives you some playmaking ability from a big man spot. But overall, like we talked about, Precious and him, I don't want my two guys off the bench both being shorter than 6'8". You either need a big man that can control the paint and give you some offensive production, or you need a wing. Ideally, you get both. But like I've said a couple of times leading up to the deadline, I do not think there is a move out there that fixes every single need and fills every hole for this roster. So we're going to see where the Knicks go with that. Larry Nance, not someone I would be interested in. Julian Champagnie of the San Antonio Spurs is an interesting name. He's a young two-way player who has shown the ability this year to be able to knock down the outside shot. At 6'7", 217 pounds, like Kispert, he would give you a legit wing off the bench. He would be able to eat up some of those minutes. But at just 23 years old and a team in San Antonio that continues to develop their own and prioritize the youth, I'm not so sure they would make that trade. $3 million on the salary this year, so you could send out maybe 2 minimum contracts, Jericho Sims and somebody else, and maybe some picks. Not so sure if San Antonio does that. Champagnie's been solid. Played in 47 games this year, playing just under 26 minutes per night, shooting 36.5% from three, 10.6 points per game. He could shoot it. He could defend it. I thought he played pretty well against the New York Knicks on Christmas. I've been a fan of the Champagnie bros dating all the way back to college, and I think that the Spurs are big fans of his as well, and I just don't see why they would move off of him. It's not like the addition of De'Aaron Fox pushes him out of the rotation. 6'7" wing that has shown the ability to shoot 37% from three. I don't know if the Spurs would do that. Like, are they interested in getting Jericho Sims and Pacome Dadier back in a trade? I'm not so sure. That salary would work. $2 million for Sims and $1.8 for Dadier. Set out $3.8, get back $3 million. Maybe you had that first-round pick from Washington that you have that's top 10 protected, then top 9 protected, then 2 second-round picks. It's going to be tough for the Knicks to make a trade due to their financial situations and the limited big salary players they're willing to move. And to be honest, I'm not so sure the Knicks make a trade. I know there's been a lot of info and smoke about Jericho Sims being the player that's going to be dealt. I don't think you're getting much of an improvement if Jericho Sims is the main piece going out in a trade. Maybe you trade him for a pick to bring yourself a little bit below that second apron. Then you could be a little bit more of a serious buyer in the buyout market. But since the Knicks are a apron team, you can't sign anyone on the buyout market that's contract prior to being bought out as more than the mid-level exception of about $11 million. So you're already shrinking your options there. I'm not sure how much better this team's going to be able to get with talent coming in. We're going to find out here in the next 30 hours or so. Do you think they make a trade? Does Leon Rose pull the trigger on another trade deadline move? He made one last year on deadline day. Then he also made the OG trade. Last year they also traded, or 2 years ago, they traded for Josh Hart the day before the deadline. Not afraid to make a move. Do you think they do? Why for yes and for no? I think the New York Knicks should seriously consider trading Mitchell Robinson. I understand that they can use what he can bring, which is, if healthy and can stay healthy, a rim presence on defense, someone that also is a great offensive rebounder, maybe the best in the NBA. But that $14 million salary shrinks to $12 million next year, meaning you can only send out less in a trade going forward. And I almost like the idea of just turning that 2-year, $14 and $12 million salary of Robinson into a 4-year player on a contract of similar value to keep your trade assets fresh and prolong that and keep yourself in a spot to make a trade down the line. We're going to find out, though. I'll be updating you here on this channel as well as on social media, on Twitter, on IG, @MarshallGreen_. Hit me up, and let's go Knicks.